Hi, boys and girls. In reading this week, we are going to start working out of our reading workbook. So this should be in your 3-ring binder. What I need you to do right now, if you don't have it out yet, is pause this video, go get your reading workbook and a pencil because we are going to be doing some of this together. So if you need to, go ahead, pause the video, go get your reading workbook and a pencil, and then we'll get started. In your workbook, the first page is the story Recycled Gloves. And what we're going to be focusing on is the skill of summarizing a story. What that means, if you are summarizing a story, you are giving kind of an overview, the big idea of it. If someone says, "Can you give me a summary of that?" They are not asking for every single tiny detail to be retold to them. They're asking for what were some of the most important things about it, short and quick. They don't need to know every single sentence of what happened in it. So we're going to practice that a little bit today with both a fiction and a nonfiction. In the fiction or make-believe story, we have the poster up here called Recycled Gloves. This poster is the exact same first page in your packet. So I'm going to go through and read this. I'd like you to follow along as I'm reading. Recycled Gloves. During the winter months, Laura and her family ski on a nearby mountain. Last weekend, Laura lost her gloves, so her mom bought her a new pair. While her mom and dad were packing the car, Laura ran inside the house to get the gloves. A minute later, she walked outside the house and exclaimed, "I can't find them. I remember taking them away from Princess and putting them on my nightstand, and now they're gone." "That cat loves playing with your things," replied Mom. "Come on, I'll help you look." After a few minutes, Dad wondered what had happened to them. He found his wife and daughter in the garage, bent over a box. "What's going on?" asked Dad. "I think I need new gloves again," whispered Laura. "Princess is using my new gloves for her new kittens." So if you can see the picture here, we have Princess, their cat, took her gloves and she's using them to snuggle up the new kittens. So if someone said to you, "What were some of the big ideas in that story?" That's what we're going to jot down in this first box. Does not have to be in complete sentences. We're just going to think about what were some of the big ideas. So I will let you think for 1 second. You could pause the video and try to write down a few things that you think are the big ideas. And then I'll go over some of them that I have. So if you want to try to do it on your own first, you can go ahead and pause and jot a few things down. Some of the things that I had on my list, and if you had these, then you can, give yourself a big pat on the back. And if you did not have them, then you can go ahead and add them to your list. So some of the big ideas. Laura goes inside to get her gloves, but they are missing. Now, you might have shortened that. You might have said Laura couldn't find her gloves or Laura's gloves were missing. That's a pretty important detail in the story. Laura remembers taking the gloves away from her cat. So that's another detail in the story that's pretty important, is that the cat had her gloves and she had to take them away. And Mom helps Laura look for the gloves. So all of these things were kind of important to get to where the end of the story was, because at the end of the story, who had the gloves? Princess. And why did she have them? For her new kittens. So if I was going to write a summary of that story, which means I'm going to write 1 or 2 sentences telling what that story was about, I might say something like, Laura finds out that her cat has used Laura's new gloves for her new kittens. Now, what I'd like you to do right now is pause the video and write down your summary of what, in your words, would you say happened in this story using 1 or 2 sentences. So go ahead and pause the video and write your answer in. Okay, that was an example of using summary to summarize a fiction or make-believe story. We're also going to practice doing this with a nonfiction article. I have an article here called Botanists. And in your packet, if you flip to the next page, that is on the back of the recycled glove story. So you can just flip it right over and you'll have your sheet to do the other side on. So this story is called Botanists. Botanists are scientists who study plants. They study where plants live and how plants affect the environment around them. Some botanists study plant diseases and try to find cures. Other botanists work at developing new types of plants. Botany is a very old science. Ancient Egyptians, Chinese, and Romans were among the first people to discover different uses for plants. One Greek botanist, Theophrastus, studied plants as long ago as 300 BC. He wrote 2 important books about plants, A History of Plants and About the Reasons of Vegetable Growth. Without botanists, we would not know much about plants. The information they give us is important to our understanding of plants and their place in this world. Now, what we're going to do first is you are going to be thinking about, okay, what were some of the big ideas in that article? So I might go through again and think, okay, so it's probably important to say that they're scientists. Let's see, who study plants. Let's see here. It's a very old science. Maybe I'll put that on here. Meaning that they've been doing it for a very long time. Let's see here. Without botanists, we would not know much about plants. So they teach us about plants. And their uses. So it talks about that some of them study them to find medicines in the plants or how they affect the environment. So you're going to take a few minutes and write down some of those big ideas about plants. Then what I would like you to do on your own today is to write your own 1 or 2 sentence summary of this article. And tomorrow when you come to school, or if you're a full-time distance learner, I can look at it next time I see you. You are going to write your summary of this and I'll check it later. So this will be done on your own. Good luck. If you have any questions, let me know.